Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Jen Mertland and Monica Weekly.
Hey guys, it's Monica here. I am so excited to introduce you to Real Estate Fight Club's newest partnership, Cyberbacker. Cyberbacker is the best in the business for virtual assistants. How do I know this? Because I am a Cyberbacker customer and I love this company. I have my favorite, Frances. She is my Cyberbacker, been with me for over a year. She's amazing. She makes me better. She's eager to help. She's on time. She's disciplined. She's awesome. And this company, Cyberbacker, has figured out the system from the interviewing process to find out what I need, to the interviewing process to interview several Cyberbackers, to the onboarding process, to the training process. Very buttoned up, very awesome. You and I both know it's time for you to leverage. It's time for you to take that step, and Cyberbacker is a really safe, awesome solution. Make sure to mention Fight Club and you will be getting a free gift. All right, do it. Make the call. See ya. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. What's up, Jay Mert?
Hey, Monica.
How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. I feel like, where's Waldo? Where are you right now?
I'm in Spain right now. I just left Portugal a couple days ago.
Now, this is airing. You might even be home by now. But right now,
Yes.
Jen is so dedicated to the listeners of Real Estate Fight Club that she has hopped on here at 8:00 at night with our dear friend, Kevin Yoder, who is back for another
Back
episode.
again.
What's up, Kevin?
Hey, listen, you two, I'm ready to fight with you on something today. And I appreciate the opportunity to be on here again. It's been a little bit, but the last time we did this, I had a ball, and hopefully we left your listeners better off than we found them.
You came to get beat back up, huh, Kevin?
Yeah, can't
Just
get beat
kidding.
down.
I
Kevin
got it.
came down with
Ready.
some serious FSBO knowledge. And if you guys did not catch that episode, go back. It's not too far back, but it's one of the better episodes we've ever done on like an actual technique for production.
And it even caused Monica to call some FSBOs.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then that ended.
Hey, and then today though, I can help with that because we had the activity part, which is the
Right.
FSBOs, like calling, picking up the phone. And then today we're going to hit the other part, which is the reason why people actually don't pick up the phone.
Yes. I like
Fear,
it.
laziness.
There it is.
Tie that back in. All right,
Right,
guys,
okay.
thanks for joining us for another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. We love that you tune in every week, and we love even more when you subscribe and share the
Yes.
podcast. Yeah, for sure.
If you want
All right.
Monica to love you, you need to subscribe.
Correct. It is the cost of my love.
Yes.
Subscriptions. All right. So today, Jen and I and Kevin are all gonna
I feel
Oh,
like
no.
this is going to be you guys against me this time, which is
Most likely.
fine.
right against wrong is what that.
Oh my God.
Here's what we're going to talk about today. Do your thoughts actually determine your outcome or your results? Do your thoughts actually determine your results? And I'm so glad we're talking about this today because Kevin is not only a student of mindset in general as a coach, as a real estate coach, but he is particularly knowledgeable about Bob Proctor's program, Thinking into Results. Right, Kevin?
Oh yeah, I've been a part of Bob's program for a good part of three years now, and having gone through it myself, I would say upwards of 20 times as a student who is also coaching and facilitating the program. So I would say I'm not a master. At the same time, I'm someone who is heavily involved, and I'm a product of the product. So I'm just coaching I actually apply this to my life and business.
You're
I love it.
definitely
And-
closer to being a master closer than we are.
Closer than we are, for sure. And full disclosure, I'm in Kevin's program. I'm taking the program. I probably haven't been as diligent as it sounds Kevin has, but I've really enjoyed it. So Jen, you're in for it because this
pumped.
stuff just makes sense. And Bob didn't just make this up. I mean, he learned from the best of the best of the best, the creators of this personal growth space, right, Kevin?
Yeah, and so you can see over my shoulder here, Think and Grow Rich. It's been around for 100, about a century. And Bob Proctor was a student of that. In fact, he carried around that book. He probably had it with him when he died. I'm pretty sure he did. He had the original version that was handed to him as he was in his 30s, and he died in his 80s. So think about that. It was bound with a rubber band, the original copy. Someone that handed to him said to him exactly like this: Bob, your way isn't working. Why don't you try mine?
Hello.
And he said the author of this book spent the good part of 30 years writing it and researching. Might it be a good idea that you spend the rest of your life learning it? Well, he told that story over and over and over again. So there it is. And the reason why that he said it that way is because constant spaced repetition. You hear an idea one time, it does not sink in.
Yeah.
You hear it twice, 3 times, 4 times. So we begin to actually believe and incorporate only that which is repeated with emotion and certainty. So we talk a little bit more about that today. So
do you think though it also requires you to realize that what you're doing isn't working?
Yeah, well, that's interesting that you say that, because if you think about the title of Thinking into Results, we always say, observe your results and being honest with yourself. Take an honest assessment of what your results are, and then reverse engineer it back to the thoughts that create the actions which produce those results. There's always a cause and effect relationship here. If the results are not ideal, if that bank account balance is not where you really want it to be, not that BS story you told yourself about you're okay and settling in for that. We're talking about what you really want. If that result is not there, it is traced back to your actions, which produce those results, which were caused by the thoughts that we're thinking and the feelings we're having. There's the formula. So yes, but you have to have that awareness, but you have to be honest with yourself. And I'm not talking, see, that's the hard part, is this is all about awareness, being aware of where you really are, an honest assessment, and then asking yourself, are you able and willing to do whatever it takes to make the change?
Right.
So that result.
Why is it so hard to?
Why is it so easy,
assess?
Monica? No.
Yeah, you're supposed to ask it in a different way. But why do people struggle with the assessment aspect of that?
It's interesting you asked that too. Everything's interesting to me, by the way. You're interesting. You're fascinating. But your questions are great because it just opens up the door to this conversation even more. So thank you for asking it. The program that I am coaching entrepreneurs with globally, Thinking into Results, it's ironic for me to observe students going through the program. I have students that I coach personally with this particular program, and they are, from the minute we hit go, they're on. And I can tell that they have committed to the material and becoming a product of the product. I've had people say to me, Kevin, this has to work. Something
like they're
has
desperate for what they want. Yeah,
they're willing to do whatever it takes, and it's a humble, open heart. And then I watch them as they go through the program. They're doing the exercises, they're asking their questions, they're showing up on facilitations, they're going to the Q&As, they're bugging me. I say bugging in a good way. I love to be bugged about this stuff. Texting, calls. Hey, what does this mean? How do I fit this into
pleasantly persistent is what I like to call it.
I love it. It's not bothering at all. So, but the irony is this. I just shared this a couple times last week. The irony is that the program itself, and this isn't all about the program, but it happens to be fit right into your question, is that it's designed by definition, Thinking into Results, to change one's predisposition towards laziness or lack of follow through. And so if someone starts something like that, we call them paradigms. Paradigms are like the thought habits that are running the show. If those are so big and so steep that one can't even follow through with the program, you're screwed.
Right.
Like, what do we do with that? It's like round and round and
round.
But
I think you're even screwed before that, because it's something you said, and it's something that I've learned myself. If somebody asks you a direct question, do you have the amount of money in your bank account that you desire? And if you don't say either yes, if you don't say yes, then it doesn't matter. The whole effing story that you're about to tell me about why you don't have it. Nobody cares, and you still don't have it.
Have you eaten dinner yet in Spain? Are they feeding you?
I'm just
What
saying, he
you
was like, it
said-
doesn't matter your BS story. You said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
in a nicer way.
But I mean,
So
if you're
here's-
saying that, then you already know.
But why? Guys, I'm looking for the disconnect. What
Okay,
is
so
it
here-
about?
here, let me
Yeah.
let me share that. Let me share this with you. This might be helpful. I did a speech on this last week in Toastmasters. The title of my speech was, "What do you think about most of the time?" That was the title of my speech.
Real estate,
And I started this. No. Well,
man.
it could be. It could be. And it could
Okay.
be the following. More specifically, this. What about real estate? So the study was done by University of Penn. There's a 22-year study. Now we're spanning over 2 decades. 350,000 entrepreneurs and business people and professionals. They were asked one question: what do you think about most of the time? That's the question. So here's the answer. This is really interesting. So the top 10% of individuals in terms of success and income, they answered this very simple question this way: what they think about most of the time is what they want and how to get it most of the time.
Yeah.
In other words, the preponderance of their thoughts. In other words, we're sitting here, we have thoughts flying in and out of our head all day long. But the balance of their thoughts, the preponderance of their thoughts, their predisposition is to go to, what do I want and how am I going to get it? What
It's
else
like
do they
a
think about most of
funnel. It like makes
Yes.
it clear. It like
Yes.
sets up
Yes.
boundaries and borders. And it's like nothing else matters because I'm going that way.
That's right. And Napoleon said, "I see only the objectives, the obstacles must give way."
Yes.
What else do they think about all the time? So they think about what I want, how to get it. They also think about where am I going and how to get there. So now you see this preponderance of forward facing, moving forward towards an objective.
Mhm.
And Earl Nightingale said that success is the progressive realization towards a worthy ideal. What that means is a worthy ideal is a big ass goal. Like,
Yeah.
I'm moving towards something or a couple
Yes.
things that are really big, right?
And there's like
And so-
intensity.
Yeah. Of course there is. And so if you do the research on goal setting, you find out that this is not just like New Year's resolutions and all that crap. We are literally wired to move towards things.
Yes.
In the absence of a clearly defined goal, we find ourselves strangely loyal to life's trivialities. What that means is that if you don't have a big ass goal, this is the goal, it's a mouse, but let's say I'm moving towards the mouse. Okay, I wake up, you guys ever seen Minions?
Yeah.
You know the Minions movie?
banana. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, well, they had a very clear goal. They needed to find their leader. Now, what sucked about their leader is they killed them off every time they found a leader, right? But without that goal of the
We
leader,
do that
you
to
guys
our
see what hap-
goals.
Yeah, right?
We're like,
But
they're
when I-
right
when they-
there.
When they stopped looking for a leader, when they found themselves in that cave for like 5 years, they were literally like bashing each other in the face and like laying down and crying, like falling down, because they didn't have a reason, a purpose. So we're like that. Without a goal, we're like a bike that just goes, whoop, okay, falls over. So got to move towards something. So that leaves the other 90%. What the hell do they think about all the time? Now, these were deemed to be the less successful or the mediocre by virtue of this 22-year study. That's a lot of time and that's a lot of freaking people, right?
Yeah.
So they said that unsuccessful people think about what they don't want most of the time.
Yeah.
Mhm. I don't want this, but let me talk about it and fester the hell out of it and
Right.
make it a big issue, right?
That's
I don't
insane.
want that.
But I don't.
What else? What else? They think about what they're worried about most of the time. Ooh, worry and unwanted things. Finally, probably one of the most frustrating things in their lives is they think about what they think about things that happened in the past that make them angry. So
Mhm.
now we're living in the past, and then finally they think about who's to blame for that.
Oh, it's not them.
Mhm. Who can I blame for this problem that's my life right now, right? I'm thinking about what I don't want. So I'm always moving towards what I don't want. I'm always festering about the past and blaming other people. So you can see how this would somehow manifest into their experience. So top people think about what they want, how to get it, and failures think about what they don't want and who's to blame for it. So what you think about most of the time, and hopefully I'm pushing on the button here, Monica, is determined by your self-concept. The self-concept. This is such an important. This is probably the biggest breakthrough in psychology. If we can understand the self-concept, we can accomplish anything that we want in our lives because it's broken into 3 parts. The self-concept is 3 parts. There's a triad here. So I'm going to slow it down just for a second, and then we'll wrap back around in a minute, okay? It's broken into 3 parts. Number 1 is your self-ideal. Now, your self-ideal and your values kind of go together. This is like, okay, this is who I aspire to be.
Yeah.
These are the things that I want in my life. And there's an aspirational aspect here, which is like, this is who I'm striving to be. But I also, these are also what I value. I value these things. And so that's a big deal. So if you have, and successful people have very clear values. They're very clear on the things they value and those things that they are aspiring to be.
We need to talk about how to get clear. I don't know if that's a whole nother podcast.
It's a whole nother podcast.
Oh,
but
go ahead.
It's important because failures, I know that's a broad term and it's highly subjective, but they're very fuzzy about these things. Very fuzzy. Like, what is it? You don't stand up for anything, you'll fall for anything, whatever. But you see that, like, you're very clear about that. So it almost like requires us then to get clear if we know them, if we know the study behind this. And then the second one is the self-image. Now, Monica, this is the lesson that we're in this 2-week period in thinking and results. The self-image is it's the sort of person I conceive myself to be. It's the person that we see in the mirror when we're being honest with ourselves. When we lay our head on our pillow, it is that really true underneath. It's the premise of all that we accomplish, because we can't outrun the self-image. We can't outwork it. We can't out-hustle it. There's one key word that you can write down when you think of the self-image, and that's consistency. Consistency, and also to think of the image of the thermostat. Here's how these 2 things go together. We will always act consistent with our self-image. In other words, if I truly conceive myself to be a success and worthy of success, I will act in accordance with that self-image. Now, I could say those words, but deep down inside, if I don't really truly believe that I'm worthy of that, right?
And that was going to be like my sticking point, because you guys are talking about like thinking into results, and it's like, well, yeah, but you have to act. Like you have to move. Like you can't just be like,
so let's
never
go
do
there.
anything.
That's exactly right. So here's the thing though. People say like, well, it's hard work, or it's a really grind. Well, think about this for a second. If we're always acting consistent with our self-image, then the actions that flow from that image are natural.
Yeah.
They're natural. So if I'm at a 72 degrees and I need to get to 90 to accomplish my big, lofty, worthy ideals, I'm simply acknowledging that I have a delta between where I am and we need to go. I need to adjust the thermostat, because if I just go out and start taking action, I'm going to stop. I'm going to literally get pulled back. It's called a snapback effect. Your self-image is like, hey, that's not you.
This is also where who you surround yourself with matters, right? Because this is like, at least for me, it's like, okay, I have this like ideal of myself, right? And then I got there and it was like, okay, what's next? And it wasn't until I surrounded myself with new people and had a new environment, like with you guys, that it was like, oh, there's like so much more. Like it can be way bigger, and other people have done it too, and I can do it too.
And talk about that snapback though, to I agree, Jen, and surrounding proximity to people. I mean, it's like the air you breathe,
Yeah.
But what that snapback
Bob,
thing.
Yeah.
How do you resolve your self-image so you don't snap back?
So,
new friends.
This is look, you guys are right. Bob Proctor would always say that your environment is more impactful on your life than your genetics.
So if I can be vulnerable here for a minute, when I'm in growth mode and I'm trying something new and I go forward and snap back because it's not matching my self-image, and I do it again and again and again, snap back. Now my self-image is that I try things and I'm not consistent and I give up. This is who I am. I just am a person that gives up. So yeah. So that is so important. You just said that. This feeds into 2 things. So thank you for bringing that up. Think of a table, and it has legs, of course, to support it. Now, every time, this is really the third part of the equation, by the way. So the third part of the equation is your self-esteem. This is the core of the self-concept. And so this is the most important thing to know about your self-esteem, right here. It's almost like you know exactly what to say to bring on the next thing that I was going to share. So thank you for that. We're definitely connected
She's
here.
intuitive.
This wasn't scripted. So this is the idea. So the self-esteem, it improves the more you act in alignment with your self-ideal. And so you're putting legs under a table that supports, I'm the sort of person who follows through with shit. When I make a commitment, it is like glue. I do not fold. I do not bend. I will be there at 5, come hell. I said hook or crook last time. You guys made fun of me. So I'm gonna change that. Come hell or high water. See, when you make a committed decision, so every time you do that, you put a leg under the table, supports that, and you get this about this. So the more you take action every day that's in alignment with your self-ideal, this is so important, the more you like yourself. The more you like yourself, because you're in alignment. You say, this is the sort of person I am, right? This is what successful people do. Well, then if I do the like Jennifer was saying, you got to take action. Well, when you take action, you're literally supporting that belief system. What's his name? Oh gosh, he wrote the book on Atomic Habits. What's his James Clear, right? Yeah. He said that you're casting a vote for the sort of person you conceive yourself to be. Every time you follow through with it, it's a matter of willpower at some point, right?
But it's even about like writing it down, right? Like it's even like, okay, because for me, it's like, yes, that sounds lovely, but like I need that evidence, right? So it's like, okay, if I'm the sort of person that sticks with shit, then every day I'm like, okay, what did I stick with today? What did I like, whatever I'm working on, and like write it down. And like, I'm trying to think of, I just did this exercise about something, and it literally, I just did it and I already forgot it because it like worked so well. I like moved on, but it's like just for a couple of days, like just writing it down. Like, what did I do that was in line with the leg of the table, in line with that habit? And then it's like, oh, then my brain was like, oh, there is evidence. You are that. Okay, next.
Yeah. Then you're connecting the dots between the action and the result. And then you have those, that's a new neural pathway, by the way. You learn, here's when you learn. You talk about empathy, you talk about kindness. Well, these are just concepts. These are just words. Now, how do you learn? When you actually are empathetic. In the moment of empathy, you literally created a neural pathway in your brain that says, it looks like this. You ever see Joe Dispenza's work? He shows us what learning looks like. Look, it looks like this. I'll say it's like, look, right there. Boom. That's learning. So you learn by doing. It's fascinating stuff. So you have to follow through with that every single day. And by the way, the 5-minute journal is something that I use every day. It's in the morning. It's 5 minutes in the morning. What am I grateful for? What would make today great? And then also I think there's 3 affirmations, like you whatever you want to write. And at night you say what made today great, and that you write down the things that made today great. So there's a practical example of doing.
But like if you're working on like your self-esteem, it's like whatever that means for you, and writing those things down as the prompt of what made it great, like how you did align with that value that you're seeking.
Yeah. And so, yes, exactly. And so to be specific too about the self-image, Monica, because you asked, and it's no small coincidence, that's the lesson that we happen to be in right now in the program, is the exercise. The exercise
Somebody needs to go to class.
You write down attributes of people that you admire. What are some attributes? Like strength, confidence, poise, clarity. What if you want to be a public speaker? I think clarity of voice would be a good one, right? Yeah. And so we're not trying to mock or mirror people specifically, but just pull out those attributes, right? And then today, I'm going to install that thing today, right now. And guess what? Remember? Look, right? So you learn. Once you do it, you learn. Then you have to do it again. And again and again, until such time that table has so many effing legs underneath it, there's nothing that's going to knock it. Look, here's the thing about the self-image too. You guys know what a golf ball looks like on the inside? You ever tore one of those open or seen it slit?
No.
So it's protected. What? You're missing out. You're missing out on the interior of the golf ball. What? So
you haven't lived. You haven't lived.
You have not lived. Get home tonight and slice open that golf ball. Because otherwise you're not going to know what I'm talking about right now. But inside there's a little core, right? But it's protected by that hard sheath around it. So the self-image is like that. It's good, and it's also a detriment. If your self-image is not where it needs to be, then it's protected. And so you've got to dump out the coffee to put in the tea. But once you've made that committed decision and you are that new version of yourself, guess what? It's also protected.
Mhm.
until such time that you say, oh, I need to go to 100. I'm only at 90. Ooh,
Is there
I
a
gotta-
thought process that's like maybe the other way around, that the actions, if you know the actions to take, then the thoughts will change?
So
Like
that's
fake
a
it before you
great
make
question.
it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. In my observation and doing this work is, it's a two-pronged approach, because if the snapback effect is real, and it very much is, Maxwell Maltz wrote a
Yeah.
wonderful book, Psycho-Cybernetics, and in that he talks about the action before the evolution of the image, and it just leads to that snapback. So like the salesperson has an image of, this is back in the day, of like 50 grand a year, and regardless of what territory you put that salesperson in, he came
Yeah.
up to the same income no matter what. That's because of the image of the thermostat of the financial image. So I think it's both. In order to have that long lasting change, it needs to be the doing the work and the action, doing the work and the actions. Now you're really self-fulfilling this thing here, and that's where the change happens.
Yeah, because I talk to like so many agents that feel like they have maybe like imposter syndrome or something like that.
I was
right?
just going to bring that up. That's so interesting that
No,
you
we're all
brought that up.
connected. No.
Wow. I was
So,
gonna
yes,
say,
it's real.
what caused that?
So it's real. And here's the challenge of that, though. This is the big challenge. Now we all experience this, right? We're going there, we're here, we're
Yeah.
going there. But how do I say this? In order to be, you have to be. See, the creative process, I know, like profound shit.
Yeah.
Right? So listen, this is
Put
the
that on a
mind
meme.
bender. This is the mind bender here. It's be, do, have.
Right.
That's the process of change. It's be, then do, then have. Because if you're being, you are doing, and then you're going to have. Most people start with the action and they want to have. They'll say, well, when I'm there, I'll act more successful, or I'll act more confident
No.
when I'm arrived. No,
No, babe.
Ew.
So you're playing a perfectly good trick on your subconscious mind and your self-image by putting yourself in that way. I mean, what is a way of being anyway? When I heard someone say on Clubhouse, like last year, she said, "Oh, I'm not a runner, but I'm training for a marathon." I thought, I asked, well, how many times have you ran? Well, like a dozen. Okay, so at what point do you become a runner?
Runner.
Mhm.
Right. At what
That's a
point do
runner
you
to
become
me.
Yeah, it sounds like a runner. You put your shoes on, or how about a musician, right?
Right.
So you're doing the stuff that person would do, and so you're stepping into that image, and you're making a committed decision to let the old self go. You have to die by that old self. It sounds harsh, but it's what needs to happen.
Mhm.
And
There's
it's what
so much
happens
attached to that, though.
I know, we got to let it go. Gotta let
Okay.
that shit go.
We need to take a break.
That's what we're going to do. And then when we come back, I want to tie it back to this idea of thoughts and results in this circle and all of
Yeah.
this. So,
It's good.
Jen, take us out.
Yes, let us take a quick break, hear a word from our favorite partners. And when we return, we'll get the magic pill.
What about partnering with us, Jen?
Oh, yeah. We should, if you would like to partner with us,
Yeah.
we would like to partner with you too.
Yay!
Yay. And we can help you get to where you want to go without giving up a single penny or paying us any commission. Call or text me today at 513-400-1691 and let's have a quick chat.
All right, welcome back. Let's get back to the battle inside the ring. This
Ooh,
stuff. I love this
good.
stuff so much, but it makes my head want to explode because I feel like there are so many like tunnels to go down in each of these thoughts.
It
and
makes
I'm
me want to
sure-
rule the world.
Yes. But it all circles around the idea of the power of your thoughts and this idea of these three concepts around self-concept. I love this: self-ideal, self-image, and self-esteem. And so are those in fact thoughts, each of those, Kevin? Are those thoughts?
They're consciousness, essentially. I mean, this is consciousness. So
We're gonna need to get
your
high for
self-esteem-
this.
I mean, I know, right? So, well, and knowing this, it is in fact a sort of a high,
Yeah.
because then you're living your best life. You're living that version of yourself that you're brought here to
But
live.
what about everybody around us that we can't get rid of?
Well, you can. Why?
You're not gonna like this answer. And everyone around you is around you because we only attract to us that which we are in vibrational harmony with.
Oh,
there it is.
mic drop.
See, I don't make this shit up. It's harsh. When I've got some ordinary cousins around me, I have to look at myself and say, why am I attracting ordinary people?
Yeah.
Right. So no, these aren't like necessarily thoughts, but you remember the balance of your thoughts are going to drive your way you feel. Now the balance of them, this is the part that people get hung up on, is you don't have to like, oh my God, I'm thinking this thought, like all that crap, like
Right.
consciously thinking every single thought, but you have to be aware. Now there's a body of work. The author is Abraham. I'm not gonna get into who that is right now, but the way to see what your thoughts are balanced upon, or your vibrational balance is how you feel. How do you feel right now? If you're thinking a shitty thought, you're thinking negative thoughts, right? If you're feeling negative, that means that you have negative thoughts going on up here. So, but you have to be aware of your thoughts, because you can't afford. I like to say it this way: we can't afford. I don't mean financially, but ultimately it ends up being financial. We can't afford to be negative for more than a splash in the pan, a quick second. Because if it's the balance of our feelings that attract people to us in good and bad, and also it drives our actions, then how long can we afford to be in that negative state? Like a second. You have to get right back to neutral real fast.
Yeah.
Right back to neutral.
Kevin, there's a concept I want us to mention on this show, because it to me was the single most important thing I've learned so far in thinking into results. And it's this concept of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And I think most of us understand the difference between the two, generally speaking. But the fact that you gave, or that Bob Proctor gave, that has impacted my thinking the most is that the primary difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is that the subconscious mind does not have the ability to accept or reject. It only accepts, right? The conscious mind is where that rejection of those thoughts, right? You can't control your first thought, but you sure can't control your second thought. And so that's the space that we must control, because if once it sinks down into the below the line, into the subconscious, there's not a tool down there to get it out.
That's right. It's
completely important.
It's highly subjective. So the ages of now, this is no coincidence here. You just brought this up, and in my hands I have something, because without seeing this, I was just going to show this next. So you have this here.
So guys, you got to go to the YouTube channel. You know, this is a podcast, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Well, we're on YouTube though. So go to the channel and watch this.
Yeah, you can see it. But like Monica said, so 0 to 7 years old, the ages of 0 to 7, this has all been proven, that our minds are basically wide open and highly subjective to our environment. So that's where all this shit gets in there, by the way. So repetition of idea, mom and dad, you know what, money doesn't grow on trees, you know, and you think that you're worthy of that. All this stuff that goes in downloads because our conscious mind is not there kicking and rejecting that information out. But once it's locked in, the conscious mind comes along and says, hey, I get to choose what I'm going to become emotionally involved with, right? That's what Monica was talking about. But the subconscious mind, so here's the deal. Like people say, yep, I read it. I read the book, Think and Grow Rich. Here, look at me. I'm so smart. Did you?
He's holding the book up to the top of his head.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm holding it up here. Oh, that's right. You can't. But my point is, this is the thinking stuff. This is just the book knowledge. This has no impact in your subconscious programming. Zero. You just sound smart. This has to somehow sink down into the subconscious mind. And I brought it up earlier. It happens through emotion and repetition. That's why in the program, you're constantly repeating stuff. It's because it doesn't work unless you do the work, which means repetition of an idea over and over again. This is why Napoleon Hill said, the only known method by which we can induce faith, AKA belief, the only known method, I'm talking about, like, there's not a million methods. It's the only known method. And who told him that? Andrew Carnegie told him that. I'm going to listen to some advice from Andrew Carnegie, aren't you?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. It's through the process of autosuggestion. What is autosuggestion? It's repeated affirmation to one's self-suggestion. I am this, and it's the way I am statement is in the present tense. It's not,
Yeah,
I'm going to be.
currently
No,
this.
It already is
Currently.
happening. Mhm.
It's already
And
happening.
it's
There's the
not,
be,
I'm
there's the
trying to
be.
be either. It's
I'm
I
not-
freaking am this.
I am right now. That's how this works. Because if you admit that it's in the future, you're not going to ever have the thing, or you're never going to be the thing. It is I am right
Mhm.
now. So then what happens, and you can't see the paper, but when you impress, what is impressed must be expressed. What that means is I'm impressing in my subconscious is in every cell of the body. This is not a part of the brain. It's subconscious. It keeps our heart beating. This is our tie to infinite intelligence, AKA God, spirit, whatever you want to call the higher power. But it's also at a cellular level. So if I impress my subconscious mind with positive affirmations of power, of clarity, of confidence, of success, I'm tingling all over right now for a reason. I believe that there's something that goes on when we're talking about this stuff. Your body is the expression of the impression, but its impress must be expressed. So I then begin to act. There's a volition here. I can't act outside of the programming,
No.
right?
Right.
No, you
Right.
can't act outside the programming. So that's how this works. Thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings is subconscious, lead to actions, and then you get those results that you want.
And Jen, that is why thoughts lead to results. There's
But
just
you've
no
got to
other
have the
path.
action. It's not just like, well, I thought about this, so I'm going to have it. You've got to have the
Right.
action.
That's a stop along the way, but the actions don't happen without the thoughts. So it is the thought.
Yeah, but the
that is
results don't happen
creative.
without the action.
It is. It's TFAR. TFAR.
Yes, it is.
Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Of course, faith without works is dead. So we must go out and move our bodies and have conversations and influence people to take action in their best direction and uplift people. This is the work. This is the work. We can't sit on our sofas and
Yeah. So like if you are an agent that isn't doing the business you want to do, you've got to go out and generate leads, however you do that.
Well,
right. So
and-
here's the thing. And so when you let's just take this little example here.
This is a big example, Kevin.
It's a huge example. So listen, though, let's say I'm going to do that. Okay, great. So I'm going to go generate leads. Well, if my thoughts are, if I've got stinking thinking here, and I'm not really feeling all that confident about myself. Thinking. So this is why the rich get rich and the poor get poor, because poor, they look at the present results, they stare right at them, and then they become emotionally involved with those present results. Then they go out and take action based on that negative place. Then they're feeling crummy, but then what comes out of their mouth? Oh, you don't want to like meet with me to list your home, do you?
Ooh.
Right?
It's all
versus, hey, here's what others have done in your situation. Let's go ahead and meet. I don't mind. I'll be out there at 6. It's all good. I got a plan. Let's go.
Right.
So they pick up what you're throwing down. There's confidence in there, but they also are connecting with you vibrationally, and you're attracting people to you that are in vibration harmony with you. What you want, what they want, you have. And so then your results are really phenomenal if you're in positive vibration and you observe those results, and then it goes up like this. It spirals upward. But start from that negative thinking place, you feel bad, you act bad, your results are shitty, and it spirals downward.
Do you have a like a course coming up, or is it, because it sounds like it's live too, but is it recorded too, or how does that work?
Well, so yes, all that, yes. So, but I'm currently facilitating with the program, and I bring entrepreneurs in at different levels. We get them indoctrinated into the material, and we're moving along as a group. And the reason why there's power there, because then we're cross-pollinating ideas and we're sharing, and it's very, it's just an open environment. And at the same time, I'm also creating the process of creating another coaching program that it's my kind of my life work, and we can talk about that later too. But yeah, the answer is yes. I do record a lot of the material. I put out videos on YouTube. If you want to check it out, go to you can find me on Yoder Results.
Got some great videos out there for sure.
What's the YouTube channel?
YouTube is, no, you just put me on the spot there. Just YouTube Yoder Results. That's
Yoder Results.
Yoder Results.
That's how we get in your world.
So you get my world. You got it. Yeah.
Hey, wait, I want to
this
share
isn't
something
about me though. So what? Yeah. So what do you got?
I want to share a story with you about what happened to me on Friday at the Vegas convention. We were getting ready to leave, and this ties into what we're talking about. long story short, very long story short, I ended up, I had $34 on a voucher for the slot machines, and we were leaving. I said, Sharon, we gotta just get rid of this $34. So $16 in to it, I end up winning a jackpot of 11,620.
Oh my God.
11,000. Well, first of all, one of my affirmations is money flows to me freely and frequently in great abundance, increasing.
Get it.
I said it every year
Get
for 3
it.
years or 4 years, maybe. But anyway, so I come home. So they said, do you want cash or check? And we were leaving, had to go to the airport. And he said the check would take a little long. I'm like, give me the cash. So I'm walking around with,
Stop it.
consider literally $11,625 in hundreds through the airports all day long. I was panicked. And I come home and we're raising my nephew, Bronson. He lives with us. He's 15 now. And my mom, who also lives with us, had told him about the win. And so the next morning when I saw him, he said, I heard you won $11,000. And I said, you want to see what that looks like in cash? And he said, yeah, let me see it. So I pull it out and he's holding it, flipping. I said, hey, buddy, do you think that's a lot of money? And he said, yeah, it's a lot of money. I said, is it? Let's talk about it. I don't want him to think $11,000 is a lot of money because I'm putting a cap on his thinking. And I think parents, we do this like, God, that's so expensive. Or, I'm just giving you $20 like it's nothing. This is my hard-earned money. Like, we've got to be careful about how we're talking about things to those around us, right? I'm sure, Kevin, you're working on that with your kids too. But I realized I was so grateful for that opportunity to tell them, I'm very grateful for this money. And it sure was a big win.
Mhm.
But it's not a lot of money to me.
Mhm.
Right? It's
Mhm.
not.
Now imagine that is awesome. By the way, congratulations, and also congratulations on sharing that lesson.
Good job.
That's
Can we borrow
really,
some money?
Yeah.
I'm only saying that to me, so you send me some money. Really, that's awesome, and what a lesson. I mean, big, small, right? Like,
I'm grateful, but
I mean, yeah, it's all relative too. You are grateful, yeah,
yeah.
because you're grateful for having put yourself in that vibrational place to attract, because money comes from all sources, right? I mean,
Yeah.
slot machine that works too, right?
Yeah,
Love it
yeah.
too.
And I needed it for the part of this down payment on this house we just bought. So
So it is a lot of money.
yeah. You know what it is? And I balanced that whole, like, I don't want to
Mm.
poo-poo it. It's a big win out of a freaking slot machine.
Yeah.
I don't want him to think that a stack of $11,000 is a giant amount of money. It's
Right.
it just puts a
So
cap.
yeah, and akin to that, it's just imagine. So you had a big win, you're excited for it, and you had a lesson you shared. But imagine getting to a place though where you would have that win and you had zero response. In other words,
It's
it
just
was such an
11.
expectation. So such an expectation. You're like,
It's true.
yeah, all right, let's go, moving right along. Now,
That's true.
not to suggest that wasn't. I mean, that was awesome. That's just an elevated place where you trust me. If I got that 11,000 out of that slot machine,
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting stuff. It's fun. And congrats. That's good. It's really good stuff.
Thank you. All right. What do you think, Jen?
Let's-
I mean, we could talk for 6 hours on this subject.
No, longer. Days.
Days,
Months.
weeks, months,
I'm not
years.
I'm not going
I mean,
anywhere.
Think and Grow Rich is like the original business book. Every single business book that's written, you can trace it through. It's the Kevin Bacon of business book.
And 6 degrees of separation of.
Can I quote you on that? That's really good. It's
Yes.
the Kevin Bacon of business books.
It is.
It's
Every
amazing,
single
Jen.
business. Thank you. Every single business book relates. It is somehow related to this one. Agreed?
So true.
I agree. In just as important is that it may be spun differently, but they're all
It's
talking about the same
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. There's not
Which
a
is
difference
awesome
here.
news because it's easy.
Easy,
Success
'cause
is
it's
easy.
One concept, and that is the power of your thoughts, because they control your results.
Now you just have to do it.
Right, Jen?
Are you holding a bullet, Kevin?
Well, I'm not, but I'm glad you asked me what's in my hand. Did you ask me what's in my hand? You didn't ask
Yeah.
me specifically, but I was going to share this with you earlier because we were talking about perceptions and well, actually we're talking about awareness, but look at it this way. So this is how, if someone's looking at the world this way, it's a people. It's a people.
It's people.
Okay, he's
Okay.
holding up a peephole for those of you that are
can't
still
see
on
it,
the
so-
podcast. Right.
So imagine like looking through a peephole and thinking that that's the whole world. And so
Yeah.
it kind of ties into your environment shapes your reality.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
I
So
thought you were
think
threatening us.
no, if I can throw a bullet at you, that's not really too much. I can virtually throw a bullet at you. That's really not going to help. But here's the deal, though: science has proven that we only perceive 1% of reality, so we're really missing a lot.
Wow.
And so the paradigms control our perceptions. And so if we are looking at the world through this people, we think that that's all there is to it. But imagine then opening your front door to your house and realizing there's so much more, which also represents how much more we're capable of.
And does meditation help us with opening the perception? Is that one of the concepts there?
Also the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
It opens the door to all sorts of
And
Not in this
gummies.
lesson.
And
Oh,
gummies.
that's a different lesson. Come back on October 31st. We'll talk about thinking into spirits, thinking into demons. But yes, I mean, meditation is we learned. I don't know if you were in that session last week, Monica, but they talked about from success.com. Tony Robbins' son was actually on stage sharing how meditation is proven way to reset, like just get back to neutral as quickly as possible, but then start your day off in that real good place of thoughts, feelings, and actions.
We should do a 75 hard meditation real estate fight club edition.
Wow.
Like
Color me.
instead of all that other crap, it's like
Yeah,
just
the physical stuff.
it's
instead
your
of
mind resetting instead of your body, right? Like get your mind fit.
gratitude, meditation, all that.
All
stuff.
the stuff.
All right, guys. I'm gonna have to say today,
Ugh.
this is gonna have to be the end of this
think
amazing
so.
conversation. And I know we covered a lot of ground, and hopefully you got
They took notes. Hopefully you took notes.
Yeah, I took notes. It was great. So appreciate you guys being here with us. If you think somebody in your world would appreciate this podcast, please be sure to share it with them. Okay.
Awesome.
Jen, take
Yep.
us out.
I don't know what to say, Monica.
We've only done 164 episodes.
Kevin, we really appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me. It's always a pleasure. This is my, as you probably can tell, even like more than talking about FISBOs, this is like what
This is what you
really
love.
this is
Yeah.
this is it
Me
right here.
too, Kevin. This
I
is
know.
what I want to coach and train on. I just
It's
can't
tough.
teach another, referral blueprint class.
Oh,
No, I mean it. I mean, I love this
Because
stuff.
listen, referral blueprint happens
Is
by
this?
doing the work. You're going to do
Yes.
that, right? So this is the important stuff right here, underneath all of it all, right here. So hopefully the listeners really took notes and
Yeah.
what is
No,
the best? What is, I mean, is finding you just like on social media or going to that, like you're everywhere on social media, Kevin Yoder, or is there a best way to get in touch with you?
so Yoder Results is my website, yoderresults.com.
.com.
And
Okay.
from there, you can spin off. You can find me on YouTube. If you want to like watch some videos where I'm talking about these concepts of the self-image and breaking through fear and paradigms, you can go to YouTube and type in Yoder
Okay.
Results. And
Okay.
those two places are really good.
Awesome.
I mean, that's probably the best.
We
Cool.
appreciate you.
Always a
You're the best.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Monica. See you next time.
Thanks, Jen. See you next time.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you.
Hi guys, Monica Weekly here. You know how you're supposed to post about real estate every single day on Facebook? Yes, you do. And the reason is if we don't remind our Facebook friends what we do for a living and how we help people, they will forget about it. We know it's our job to inform, educate, and demonstrate what we do for a living. Well, I'm coaching agents all around the country, and they understand that, but they're not doing it. And I ask them, why aren't you doing it? Probably just like you. And they said, Monica, we don't know what to post. Can we just borrow your stuff? Because I love creating Facebook posts. And these can often be used over on Instagram as well. So I said yes, and people were borrowing my stuff. So I created finally a product that you can sign up for free. It is free, guys. There is no reason for you not to sign up for this. It's ghostposter.com, GHOSTPOSTR, no E in there, just TR.com. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a Facebook posting idea to your email every single day. So not only do you have this great idea, but you've been reminded, oh yeah, I need to post. And that's Monday through Friday. And if you don't love the post or you think, gosh, I'd like something else, well, you're also going to get access to a library of over 600 different posts for you to choose from by category. You're going to love it. Go sign up, ghostposter.com. Don't waste a minute. And then be sure to join the private Facebook group. All right, I'll see you in there.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.